I'm thinking next week we get something funkier and dirtier.
Daddy. Hey, one time my wife and I was crazy. All right.
It may take you a while. It may take you quite a bit of time to find it. But, okay, everyone, Christ, I need some help. Can I have a heart?
Focus up. I'm talking to you, Kyle, out in Calgary. I heard you like my rage. I'm going to make sure you have a little bit more rage on your docket tonight. Hopefully you're watching. If not tonight, maybe next week. Welcome to everyone to the Rubio Method. My name is Chris Rubio. This is episode 98 of the Rubio Method. We've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to be bouncing all over the place. For everything happens for a reason. I'm going to be talking about my travels. I was on like a 10-day travel spur, we'll say, and that's why I was not able to do a show last week. Then we're going to have to go to winners and losers. Going to continue. I'm going to talk about my meals. I was out in New Jersey and it was quite interesting, we'll say. Accept and embrace. We're going to bring back John Bergeron. He's going to talk about tariffs and take everyone a little off the edge on this one, or edge, either one, doesn't matter. Working hard is not enough. We're going to bring back Craig Hannum, and he's going to talk about the new modern way people are bullying people, and it's just not a good thing. And then confidence is the key. We're going to talk about how I always say toe the line, and not everyone understands it. I'm going to try to make it a little bit more easy to understand. Nanamona says, hello, Rubio. Nanamona, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing very well out there. Hopefully it's getting a little sunnier for you guys. I don't know what Canadian weather's like. All right. So this is episode 98. We're 2 away from 100. This is going to be an interesting show. Everything happens for a reason. All right. So last Saturday, so we're talking 10 or 11 days ago, I had to go to San Francisco, and I wanted to talk about how my trip to San Francisco was, because I had to go to San Francisco, from San Francisco to Las Vegas to New Jersey back to Lewiston, Idaho. So first of all, I land in San Francisco. It's fine. I rent my car, got to do it. First, the shuttle access from the San Francisco International Airport to the rental car, absolute nightmare. They need to fix that. That's number one, because there's 12 billion people and it's not exactly close. Number two, you get off in billboards. No one knows what they're saying. And it's not that they're in a different language, but they might as well be, because everything is like AI this, AI that. And it's like a company name and just like a dot. So if you're not into whatever the company's doing, you have zero clue. I'm assuming they just do these for tax purposes, because unless you're a member of that company, you would have no idea what the hell's happening. So it's really dumb, to be honest with you. And I'm a cheap person. If anyone that doesn't know me, I'm very cheap with myself. I'll spend for others. For myself, I'm very cheap. And so it's one of those things that I don't like to spend money. So I'm out there doing. I'm going to be running a camp. I'm at an Airbnb, and I wanted to order a pizza. A pizza will feed me for 2 days, no problem. So I said, okay, I'm going to order pizza. Should I use Uber Eats? No, I'm not going to use Uber Eats, because Uber Eats will crank up a $10 pizza. All of a sudden, you're paying $45. So not going to do that. I decide I'm going to go to Domino's. I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to order off their website. Go to their website, order just a large pizza with 2 toppings. Okay. Now, mind you, this is not from Uber Eats. This is from Domino's in itself. And the cost was $50. $50. Okay, San Francisco, number one, figure it out. Number two, it's Domino's. It's not like I was at the finest restaurant for pizza in New York and or Chicago and or New York or Italy. Okay, we're just talking Domino's in San Francisco. And it wasn't anything special. It was just a Domino's pizza, which is fine. I have no problem with Domino's, but yeah, I don't know. So that's number one. I forgot to mention that on my flight, I ran into someone that is someone who hums. I'm not going to say a hummer, Jenna. Okay. I'm going to say someone who hums. And if you've ever been around someone who hums, they're obviously a happy person, but no one wants to hear that. So my hate for someone who whistles is here. That means whistles out loud, like you're just whistling, like you're that guy or girl who whistles. This is an older lady, so my hate was brought down a little bit because older ladies, you always have to feel, just okay, you're older. God love you. You're doing what you got to do. Don't hum out loud. No one wants to hear someone who hums, not a hummer, Jenna. No one wants to hear that. It's disgusting. No one wants to hear it. The only thing worse than someone who hums is someone who whistles. So don't be either one of those people, especially not on a plane or getting on or off the plane, because you're in a confined area and no one wants to hear that crap. So that's my public service announcement. Leave San Francisco. After a day or two, I go to Vegas. I was going with another family, and they brought their teenage boy, who was good friends with my teenage boy, because it was spring break. And I don't know about you, when I grew up, I went to spring break everywhere. For those listening on iTunes and Spotify, that was me doing a big wink, because I was lucky if I got to go down the hall or outside for my spring break. Wasn't raised with a lot of money, so vacations were not really a thing. I remember when I was in 8th grade, I got to go to Hawaii, but that was because my mom turned 40. So she said it was like, my graduation trip for 8th grade, which is stupid because I refuse to even support 8th grade graduations. If you can't graduate from 8th grade, there's something wrong with you at this point, unless you're in a coma or you've been hit in the head by a baseball bat or something like that. Graduating 8th grade is, you get no celebration for that. You should barely get a celebration for graduating high school, in my opinion. And the people that do like kindergarten graduations, I have a full protest on those. Those are the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life, because, well, they're just dumb. Okay, you can drool on yourself and graduate from kindergarten, and pretty much 8th grade as well. So I'm not a fan of that. But this brought me back to, yes, we were in Vegas. Yes, it was a good time. And yes, the group that we're with was phenomenal. On that note, in all my years of traveling, I've noticed that, yes, it is important who you travel with, because when you start to travel with someone, you get to really understand exactly who they are, what they're like. Can you guys correlate on where you're going to eat, do this? You've always got someone who's going to be the alpha of the group, and there's got to be other people that just can't be the alpha. They can't be the leader, and that's fine. Everyone has to know their role. There's sometimes when I'm on a trip that I like to lead. Sometimes I have no idea where the hell I'm going, and I'll sit in the back. It doesn't matter to me. And this group did very, very well. But on that note, it brought me to the point that if we were not in Vegas, we could have been in Hawaii, Jackpot, Nevada, which I have been. We could have been in Fargo. We could have been on a road trip. And if you're with the right group of people, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, it's going to be a great trip. Okay. With this group of people, I could literally go in a broken down van and go through Death Valley, and we could make it a funny story, just because it would be a funny story. You'd have to just accept and embrace it. Like I say all the time, we're not at that section yet, but it's one of those that it's okay. This is going to be a funny story. We'll make fun of it. Okay. We're eating bad food, or we're eating great food. We had a bad time where we slipped on an ice cream cone, or boom, we had the greatest ice cream cone in our mouth ever. It's one of those things. And that's what I learned over my time is, it's who you travel with, not exactly where you're traveling to. So that's a big, big thing. If you're ever thinking about traveling with people, you really want to understand that after your trip, you're going to really be able to tell good friends of ours that I can travel with, or friends that I choose to never travel with again. And it's probably going to put a strain on your relationship. In Vegas, I met a very interesting character that I was very, very intrigued with. We get into an Uber ride, and this guy's got a minivan. There were 6 of us, so we always needed some sort of minivan. And this dude driving, and I'm not throwing bones here, okay? He had to have been, I couldn't tell how tall he was because he was sitting down. We're going 500 to 600 pounds. I mean, to the point where his seatbelt wasn't an option. There was no way. That wasn't happening, which I don't think he was moving anyway. His stomach was literally hitting the steering wheel. So to the point where his arms were like T-Rex arms, and he couldn't turn fully. Like, he couldn't get this hand over because he was too big. But God love him, if he didn't make an invention, and I looked at him like, did he just really do that? And it was fantastic, because he would suck in for a second, turn, stick his gut out, stop the wheel because his stomach stopped it, and then he would reposition his hands and turn again. So for him to make a U-turn, it was like stomach in, turn, stomach out, stop, stomach in, turn, stomach in, or out, stop, stomach in, turn. So it was like a 3-point belly turn one of the most creative things I've ever seen. And at that point, I didn't even care that he was so big. It didn't bother me one bit. I'm not his heart, but it was just very impressive. And, God loved that guy for utilizing what he's got. I mean, he was a big man. And he said, you know what? I can't really fit. I can't really turn because I can't get my T-Rex arms going. So I'm going to utilize my belly to really just go with what I've got. And God love him. He came up with the belly turn. I've never seen it. I want to see it again. I don't know how safe it is. I'm not sure that he should be like a Mario Andretti Grand Prix driver. I don't want him driving me away if I'm doing a bank robbery. But God love him. This guy, he invented something, and I'm all for it. Bless his heart. In Vegas, it's not uncommon to see a quote-unquote celebrity. And I ran into a master of a celebrity, one that pretty much anyone will say lower than 50, in my opinion, all the way down to 8 at this point. You have to know who this person is. And if you don't know who this person is, don't worry, I'm going to show you a video. But I saw this dude walking by, and I go, oh, my God. I told my kid, Damon Dale, I go, Damon, that's the great Hambino. He goes, what? I go, look. And Jenna, go ahead and pull up the pic of the great Hambino. Absolutely fantastic. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, Rubio, who is this guy? Like, what's going on there? Who is that guy? He kind of looks a little crazy. Is that Carrot Top? He's got red hair. Side note, I just noticed this. I'm not sure why I'm holding my cup like that. I have opposable thumbs, I think. What am I doing with my hand? Very odd, very interesting. I don't know, but it's something that I had to do. One of my guests is saying that guy's cursed. It might be reverse Benjamin Button on him, because if you see him in from the movie that I'm about to show you, which is The Sandlot, if you guys are listening on iTunes or Spotify, he's Hamilton Porter, the catcher / one of the top 5 movie characters of all time. And he's in The Sandlot, and you can literally tell it's him from within a second. And he made this movie, I would assume, when he's like 12, maybe 11, right around there. And he looks exactly the same. So Jenna, please show the clip of this guy in the movie The Sandlot.
S'more what? No, you want a s'more? I haven't had anything yet. So how can I have some more of nothing? Shut up! You're killing me, Smalls. Oh, sexy. Hey, girls. You play ball like a girl! What did you say? You heard me. Tomorrow. Noon. At our field. Get the buffalo butt breath. Count on it, pee-drinking crap face! Yeah!
Number 1, what classic lines. Number 2, it's phenomenal that he was as nice in person as you would hope he would be. And number 3, Jenna, that is not a merce. Jenna's making fun of me about my satchel, which one of my guests pointed out. Yes, the Indiana Jones had a satchel. And if Jenna said, you've never walked around with a wife and or another girl, whenever you do that, they're losing crap. So I've always offered, the gentleman that I am, to just carry everything, because I'm not going to be that guy that where someone loses a cell phone, someone loses their ID, someone loses their makeup. Okay. It's one of those things that I'm an equal opportunity employer. I'm helping out everyone. Do I have some of my own stuff in there? Of course. You always need some stuff. Find you, Jenna says, find her someone. Okay, I'll work on that. But and the climax of the Vegas story happens to happen at the taxi line as I'm leaving. But we're going to come back to that in this next section. There are winners and losers in life. All right, so Vegas is done, and I'm off to New Jersey. Now there's several aspects of this part. I'm going to hold back my cab story to the very end because it gets me so scared / fired up because of some girl named Alexa, which I don't like anymore, or Alexis, I can't remember, because I blocked blocked her name out of my mind because she scares me. She might be worse than you, Jenna. Okay. gentleman of distinction, Michael Hunsinger's on. He's doing a great job. They are going to be going live, I think, in about 45 minutes. Doc and Chef, make sure you turn them on. You can have us both on. They do a phenomenal show. I'll be jumping onto theirs and being live and chatting and all that. They do a great job. It's on YouTube. Doc and Chef, MD and Chef, absolutely phenomenal. So I fly into Detroit from Vegas. No Hummers, or people that hum, excuse me, Jenna. No Whistlers. It's all good. We get to Detroit. I've got about, or Detroit. One of my buddies said Detroit, and from now on, I can only say Detroit because Detroit sounds odd to me. I don't know what to tell you. So I get there, and I've got about 45-minute layover, and all of a sudden, my flight's delayed an hour. Flight's delayed an hour. Flight's delayed an hour, which seems to happen. Okay, I got what you're doing. And then finally, our flight lands at about 10:30, and they say, okay, this is your plane, but it's inoperable. It can't work. We're going to have to switch planes. Which brings up the point of, dude, I just saw that plane land. I just saw it pull in to D37. So how is it inoperable? Did something happen? Did it run over a thumbtack that last 11 feet of runway? Like, what happened? So number one, okay, what happened? Number two, was it inoperable the entire time, or just make up a better excuse for that? Okay, so we go to another plane. I get there, and I've warned you guys before about Backpack Guy. Backpack Guy is the guy who wears a backpack. He's trying to stuff too much crap into it because he's too cheap to either check his bag or he just doesn't want to buy a carry-on. So he's got backpack and he's swinging it around. He has no idea that it's lined with 75 bricks. He's basically the Hunchback of Notre Dame. He's got Kawato on Total Recall on his back. So he has no understanding how big he is. So I've got an older guy with backpack on. I got seat 1B, so I'm right at the front. Got upgraded to first class, no big deal. They must have found out that I was on grand jury duty a couple weeks before. I get there, an old guy swings by and boom, hits me on the shoulder because I'm wide enough to where I'm kind of leaning into the aisleway. Not that I'm trying to, but I'm just too big. So he bumps me and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be an issue. I keep focused. I've got headphones on. I'm not talking to anyone. Sunglasses on, even though it's at night. I told you it's the international sign of please don't even think about speaking to me. I don't want to have any conversations. We're just going. Older dude, I would have helped him had I known that he was sitting right behind me, but I'm focused on me. He proceeds to put backpack up in baggage area, whatever it's called. It's too heavy. He can't do it. Instead of anyone being nice and helping him, he decides, screw it, I'll let it fall on Rubio's head. And boom, I mean, legit, it knocks me, hit so hard, my sunglasses, boom, my headphones, boom. And we're not just talking about the inner ear ones. We're talking like the ones that I look like a rapper from like 1986. We're talking those. They fly like into the cockpit because I'm right there at 1B. They scramble. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh, you're good, man. Because I look around and it's like an 85-year-old dude. What am I going to say? Hey, man. So at this point, I proceed to help him with said backpack, which I can see is filled with 17, 18 dead bodies filled with lead. Get it up there. After a while, the flight attendant kneels down next to me, like as a catcher stance, and says, excuse me, Mr. Rubio, because they have their name and who is. Yeah, so are you okay? We noticed that you took quite a hit. And I go, yeah, I'm okay. And at this point, my head is literally starting to pound. And I should have said something because I'm thinking after the fact, I could have got some free miles or something, but I was too stupid, maybe too prideful. I don't know. But boom, hits me in the head, knocks me out. Legit, I think I got a concussion. We'll come back to that later. So I get to New Jersey, finally land, get my rental car, go to, what is this place called? I can't remember. It's like Seagate. I think it's called Seagate. He needs to work on his resistance training. Yes, he does, Doc. I get to my room, and it's in this little Seagate, New Jersey, little beach town. If you've ever been to a beach town, remember I'm cheap, so I'm staying at a not so great place because it's just me. It's not my wife and kids, just me. I could stay anywhere. I've stayed in thousands of hotels. Let's just say the room was not ideal for anyone that's above sub 60. Jenna, can you have a picture of the room for me? And now, mind you, this picture is showing the room, the bathroom, and I'm standing in the shower. I'm literally standing in the shower to take the picture. Okay, that's like a full-size bed. All right, so Jenna, let's go back to me. So we're talking, if you want to run laps in that room, it's taking you 1/1000th of a second. No big deal. I have a great family out there called the Shimko family, and they're guiding me around at the first day. I got another family that I'm going to talk to. They guide me around, and they are great. They tell me to go eat at some place. I'm going to butcher this name. It's called Tariffs, TALIERCIOS, Ultimate Gourmet. It's just a deli. but it's phenomenal. If I have full respect for anyone that lives in New Jersey and that's not a fat ass, because their food is so good. Holy Jesus. It's absolutely phenomenal. So we go to this deli and it's got, and Joe, the kid told me, go in, don't just order the first thing you see. Not a problem, because there's chalkboard menus everywhere and there's 797 items. So finally I was like, I'll have the old Manda, whatever it was. I can't remember. So Jenna, play the video clip and keep me on the side if you can. I want you can't understand how loud this music is going, and they're just yelling nonstop. Go ahead, Jenna. Okay, you can't. I wish you could smell it in there. And so that's the Rolling Stones. Okay, copyright to them, so YouTube don't ban me. And they would go from Rolling Stones to Bruce Springsteen, Rolling Stones to Bruce Springsteen, back and forth, because I was in there for like 15, 20 minutes. There's a little bit of a wait. And the best part was, this was their soundtrack. Like, this was the music they have, their playlist, and every song, all the dudes in the back, because there's like 7 guys cutting meats at the same time, making sandwiches. They're like, hey, yo, Bruno, hell of a song. No shit, man. You put it on the playlist. Of course it's a good song. It's not going to be Mariah Carey. We know it's a good song. You literally, Seagirt, New Jersey. There it is, Donnelly. Thank you. It's one of those, you picked the song. We know it's a good song, but bless your heart, they're like, oh, hey, that's a good song. What do you think of this song? Yeah, it's a good song. It's your playlist. Of course it's a good song. All right. So this was absolutely phenomenal. Sunday, after my camp, the Foggia family, Foggia. Okay. I think they're watching right now. If they're watching, here we go. I was invited to their dinner. Foggia is an Italian name. There was enough food at this family. I'm going to show you pictures and videos. Don't worry, because I stood there amazed. There was enough food to feed, I want to say 50 people. And I would say there was maybe 9 people in attendance, maybe more. Maybe we'll say a baker's dozen, maybe 13. But there was several people, let's say over 75. So they're not throwing down a large amount of food. And I'm not joking when I say there was food enough to feed 50 people. This is just the charcuterie board. Now, before we get to this, Jenna, don't show the video yet. This is a very Italian family. I'm half Italian. So this was like home to me. This felt like nothing to me. At one point, I should have put it on a live feed, because they were yelling so loud at one another. And we're talking about a kitchen that's, let's say 20 by 15. It was a big size kitchen, big island. There was, let's say at any point, 6 people in the room. And I'm not joking, 10 to 12 conversations going within those 6 people. And I'm watching like I'm watching a damn professional ping pong match, because this person's talking to this person, this person's talking to this person, this person's talking over this person might be talking to someone in the mirror, yet they're all doing something, and they're like synchronized skaters where they're all moving within each other. Like, no one got hurt. There's 9 burners going on. There's 6 skillets. Someone's making mozzarella cheese that you can barely understand them if you don't speak Italian or been around Italians, because they're not even using correct terms. Like a normal human being would say mozzarella. They're saying mozzarella. And to me, I just sat there. I was, the first time at Disneyland, I was not as happy as I was watching these people cook / talk / cuss each other out, until we get to the end when I talk to one of the daughters, which I'll get back to in a second. So let's just go to the charcuterie board. Now, if you don't know what a charcuterie board is, it's just meats and cheeses. It's just a fancy name for meats and cheeses on a plate. So everyone's hungry when you walk in, you got food. This is just the charcuterie board. Go ahead, Jenna.
Going over the charcuterie platter, we have Swiss, spicy salam, hard provolone, like the cheese, This is green olive crackers. This is beef, salami almost. Prosciutto, always. Old Gouda.
Okay, let me just go back to where she says provolone. Cheese, like, you dumbass. Like, she's almost yelling at you right out of the gate, and I thought it was fantastic. Go ahead, Jenna.
Regular Genoa salami, new Gouda, just some high-end artisan salted crackers. Pesto Gouda is directly from Aruba, and then this is, again, spicy salami. I think
mind you, this is before people got there. So it's like me and the family, and I think there's like 5, maybe 6 people in the family. Pesto Gouda, wow, yeah, it was unbelievable. So I had a couple things, and I wasn't going to try to ruin my appetite, but they were like yelling at me too, and I was ready to yell at them back, but I was at my house, but I could have gone full Italian mode, but I chose not to, because I was a guest in their house and I want to be invited back. All right. So, okay, Rubio, what's on the menu? Here's the other sister, who, by the way, I guess she's like a world-class chef, but she's not a chef. Like, she went to Italy, I think, for 6 weeks to become a chef, and she is a chef, but she only chefs for people she likes. So I guess I'm on the in now. I don't know, but it was like a world-class meal. This is her just explaining some of what's happening. Go ahead to explanation of menu video. On the menu tonight.
All right, so we're at the Foja house here. We got Tracy's birthday tonight, so we're kind of going all in. We got proteins. We got pork loin pinwheels with prosciutto, some sautéed spinach, provolone rolled up and roasted in the smoker. We got grilled skirt steak. We got grilled beef ribs. We got shrimp cocktail in the pot there. We got the marinade here for lemon basil skewered shrimp. We have Parmesan cauliflower. We have just mushrooms and onions, you know, for the steak. I'm going to do caprese towers with fresh mozzarella. We're going to make in a couple of minutes when my dad gets home. Zucchini tomato with probably balsamic on top. And then we have Jake's girlfriend who's making shells, peas, and sausage. I think that's it. Oh, I'm going to make mini crab cakes with the lemon Dijonnaise dip.
In honor of you?
Yes. And potato wedges, which I'm roasting them right now. And that's it. I think I got everything.
That's it?
Believe it or not, that's it.
Did you get the fresh homemade focaccia bread?
Okay. Mind you, she really didn't explain all of what was happening. And that's the chef who's not a chef, but she is a chef. So I don't get that one either. Okay. You notice how she had Fret's mozzarella. Come on, Rubio, you dove into that foodie world. Oh, I want to. I don't know if I can. Now, if you've never seen fresh mozzarella made, holy Jesus. Okay. Everyone get a napkin ready because you're going to start to drool. This is one of my guys, one of my long-timers girlfriends, making this mozzarella. Holy Jesus. Jenna, let it rain.
You're live, Alex. What the pressure kept you.
And that goes over and over and over. It just spreads it out. And then you got to, like, I don't know, wheel it out or something like that. But it kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Words cannot express how good that mozzarella was. If I could put that, like, just throw that and pizza sauce in my mouth at the exact same time, just call it a night. I don't even need to talk to anybody. Oh, yeah. Someone just said that's an emotional experience. Oh, we're not there. We're not done yet, man. So let's go out to, so where's all this protein? Where's all the meats going? Okay. Jenna, let's go to the grills video. Focus. Right. This is for 9 people. I'm not joking when I tell you, you could have just taken the steaks. And here's the best part. This is every Sunday. They said, okay, it's for the mom's birthday. Yes, it was. But happy birthday. I kind of invaded them on that. But I guess they do this literally every Sunday. We might have to have like a Foja section of this show where they just show us what they're eating. Because I that kitchen, when I walked in, I feel like I've been there before. Because I've literally told them, send me videos of your food. Okay. Send me videos of your food because I want to eat vicariously through you. So everything's going great. And then I start to tell the story about when I'm leaving Vegas. And this is when one of their daughters, Alexa, I choose not to remember her name, shot me down. And here's the story about me leaving Vegas. Actually, you know what we'll do? We're going to go to commercial real quick. And then I'm going to come back to that story. See, that's me leading off into it. So let's go to commercial real quick, Jenna. Then I'll come back to that story. Then we'll go to Bergeron. Jenna, I'm out.
You have been watching The Rubio Method. Take it away, Rubio.
Focus up. I'm talking to you. Yes, that was a teaser, Michael. I'm talking to you, Jason from Right. what was it? Right Coffee Company in Moscow, Idaho. Phenomenal coffee. He taught me a lot about coffee yesterday, and I'm unbelievable about it. I got to learn more about it. So Jason from Rite, R-I-T-E Coffee Company. All right, back to me leaving Vegas. I've got all my bags, and when I travel, it's a lot of stuff. Okay, I'm that guy that you avoid, especially if you're humming or whistling. And I've got my suitcases, my ball bag, all that stuff, and I have this brown leather bag. Let me show you the leather bag. It's just a brown leather bag. Phenomenal. Looks great. I admit it. It looks great. It's a good looking bag. Okay. Just holds all my electronic stuff, my headphones, sunglasses, things like that. Things I don't want to hear people. So this lady, she's probably about my age, maybe a little younger. We're standing in the cab line. She goes, looks directly in the eyes. And Jenna, I need your help on this one. Confirm, because Alexa or Alexis shot me down and I want to talk about it. She says, it's a really nice bag. And she's looking directly into my soul at this point. I said, thanks. Now, this is not uncommon. People have complimented this bag before, and it's not a super expensive bag. And I said, oh, thank you. And she looks and she goes, no, it's a really nice bag. Okay, thanks. And this is where it gets, I thought got weird, but maybe it's not. She says, can I touch your bag? I'm more of a feel person. Now, I don't know what you say to that. So I said, okay. So she proceeds to put her hand on my bag, and my bag's probably 3 feet in front of me at this point. She proceeds to pet my bag and rubs it like this. Okay. She goes, yeah, it's a nice bag. Yeah. We're about 4 people back to get a cab. Then she looks at me. Now, Jenna, this is where you come in. She says, hey, you go to the airport? Obviously, I'm going to the airport. I got 75 bags plus my nice bag. She says, I've got an Uber. You just want to hop in with me and go to the airport? Okay, now, I said no before you freak out, because I don't know this lady. Because, Jenna, here's my question. Was she hitting on me right there? Was she hitting on me right there? Because I think she was. I think she was like, hey, we're in Vegas. I've got an Uber. Why don't you come with me? Why don't you go with me to the airport? And I said, no, I'm good. I will spend $37 and I will get to the airport. Jenna's not responding, so I don't know if she's still passed out from the mozzarella video. So I get in my cab. I'm feeling good about myself. Hard to tell. I rub people. Jenna says she rubs people's things but doesn't hit on them. Okay, that's a whole side issue. So I'm going through the next 48 hours thinking, okay, I feel kind of good about myself. A girl hit on me. This is great. Whatever. I tell this exact story to Alexis, and she said, and I'm saying, did she hit on me? What's the story here? She goes, how do you know she didn't put an air tag on your bag to take you to like sex trafficking and kill you? And I go, hey man, I didn't think about that until now. And she goes, well, have you checked the bag? I said, it's been 48 hours, man. She goes, well, check it. Go get the bag. I go, I don't even know what I'm checking for. I go, I don't know if she's got some sort of skin tag she puts on there or air tags or how she drop it in there. I don't know what the technology is nowadays with AI. So to that member of the Foggia family, who I shall not mention anymore, I still don't know how I feel about this. I still feel like I think I got hit on, or I may be murdered in the middle of the night, or I may be sex trafficked, because I don't know what's happening. Because yes, that was in Vegas and now I'm in New Jersey, but I'm assuming those air tags move across county and state lines. So that's my Vegas / luggage / food story. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's move on. Accept and embrace. John Bergeron is back, and we're here to discuss the super hot topic of tariffs. Jenna, bring on Bergeron.
Good evening. Good evening. How you doing,
Rubio?
Rubio?
I'm sorry for taking too long on that story, but I had a flow and I was going with it. Real quick, Bergeron.
All right, you're defending your person. You know, that's all right.
First of all, it's a satchel. Okay,
Call it what you want.
Satchel.
Call it what you want.
We know
what it is.
Yeah, is El Trumpo playing chess while everyone's playing checkers? Because yesterday the world was ending, where it was going to be Black Monday, and oh my God, the world's ending. And today it's neon green. So can you explain, because you've already explained to us what tariffs are, and people are still kind of losing their mind. Take us through the 24-hour journey of yesterday through today. And Jenna's got all your graphics if you want anything pulled up.
Yeah, so I'll say it's the art of the deal. We're watching the art of the deal 2 unfold right before our eyes. He's the world's greatest negotiator, and many people may not believe that, but I think he does this for fun and he does it for sport. He understands 10 or maybe 20 legs down from the decision, so he plays out scenarios. I know he does this where it's 6, 7, maybe 10 steps ahead. So he's already played things out. He knows that this is a breaking point for China at 125%. So what will happen next?
Okay, wait, hold on.
Okay.
What do you mean by a breaking point for China at 125%?
There are 250 million Chinese people that are employed through the manufacturing industry in China. At 25%, factories were slowing down. They were adding or eating the cost. At 50%, they were talking about slowing down to 80, 75% of production. At 125%, you're talking about widespread shutdowns, which means unemployment for the Chinese people. So it's going to get very bad for China very, very quickly, because Xi Jinping isn't the leader of China if his people are not working.
Okay. So what if someone says to you, okay, but because the same people argue within 24 hours of the stock market means nothing. The stock market means everything. Well, how do you talk to those people where they are on one day saying, oh my God, El Trumpo is the worst. Look at the stock market's plunging. And then today, I think it's the biggest Dow improvement in like 25 years or something, or almost ever. I think I read one time.
Well, if you're putting money in the stock market and trying to take it out within a day or two, you're a day trader. You're not a real, that's not really what the stock market's for. It's for long-term investing in American companies that grow, like Apple, like Nike, and other great American companies that you can see your investment grow with those companies over a 5, 10, 30-year period or whatever. But it's not, the stock market's not Vegas. It's not meant for a casino. It's not, you're not putting your money on black or red and do I win today or win tomorrow? You put money into these companies because you believe in them and you want to invest in them. You believe in their products. Let's say Walmart, Microsoft, Amazon. The list goes on and on. If you believe in those stocks, and it just so if you liked it at say $100 and today it's at 80, well, go buy more at 80. Right?
Yeah. And then the thing with Trump is, he is so much of a, I don't want to say pompous ass, but he's so much of a dude that he's been in those rooms before. He knows what he's doing. He understands that. And a lot of times as a teacher or coach, you have to do the same thing. You can't teach everyone the same way. You can't coach everyone the same way. When I was at UCLA, I was the guy, just talk to me. Just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. The guy that played next to me, Myers, if you didn't MF him up and down the road, he would not pay any respect to you. He didn't like it. Jenna, do you have that video that Bergeron sent us in about El Trumpo speaking? I think this will express my opinion or show my point more.
Do about China? Simple, he says. Slap a 25% tax on China.
The messenger is important. I could have one man say, we're going to tax you 25%. And I could say another, listen, you mother, we're going to tax you 25%.
Is that what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what the whole sentiment is these days. It's anti-Trump. So again, you go back to the tariffs. Trump in 2016, 2017 put 10 or 20%, I can't remember the actual number, of tariffs on China as an opening salvo. Biden not only liked those, he increased them when he got them. So if tariffs are so bad, then why did Biden, increase those tariffs on China after he got into office? It's because he realized they are making billions of dollars on the. Ultimately, a tariff at the end of the day is a use tax So it covers anyone that's going to use that particular product. It's almost like a sales tax, but it's specified to, if you're going to use that individual product or not. And by the way, that's why we're trying to reindustrialize America so we can build those products in the United States.
And I'm willing to bet the majority of Americans at this point right now would say, hey, I'll spend $10 instead of $8 for a better American product as long as it lasts. Because a lot of that stuff you buy through Temu or Shein or whatever, and it's just crap. And there's a reason why it's, a penny for 500 of them. Because you're getting maybe a one-time use out of it, or it's going to be the wrong size or not even close to fitting, and you get what you pay for. I mean, there's also like a 9-year-old person making it, or a 3-year-old, and it's one of those things that, me 100%, I would much rather pay for an American product, pay a little bit more, and just know that it's okay. Yes, it's made in America. Number two, it's going to last. I mean, I think that's what everyone wants nowadays, is just something that lasts.
Yeah, I think the biggest eye-opener for me is the advocacy for child or forced labor in China, right? Oh God, my whatever is going to go up X amount of dollars. Well, by the way, when you got that item, it was stitched by an 11-year-old whose hands are bleeding, right? I mean, whatever that item may be. So why not shift those jobs to American unionized companies that support American, that will increase the tax base, that will increase the jobs market within America. Think about how many jobs that would be if we reindustrialized America. That's 250 million Chinese people. That probably equals 50 or 75 million Americans, if you think about it.
Yeah, those companies are not exactly OSHA approved and or just regulated due to the fact that, isn't it outside of Amazon? They have nets outside their windows because people were trying to kill themselves so often that they literally said, okay, there's a net, so go ahead and jump. You're just going to fall into a trampoline at this point.
That's Foxconn. Yeah, that's Foxconn. It's a Chinese company, and they do have nets outside of the company for suicide prevention. That's absolutely 100% true, because they work them 16 hours a day. And what a lot of people don't realize is they're using minority groups like the Uyghurs as forced labor. So they'll send them to re-education camps and then put them in factories to, put the screws in your iPhones.
Is forced labor just slang for slaves?
Well, I mean, like I said, if you look up what the Uyghurs are going through right now, it's a couple million Muslims that are in China that are being what they call re-educated in the communist way and sent to these essentially slave camps to work on this stuff. So what I find very hypocritical is the advocacy for child labor, for having your iPhone $25 less or whatever. I mean, do you need a new iPhone right now? I don't
either. Okay. Yeah. So, but what about the argument where someone says, oh, he backed down, he submitted because he took all those other tariffs, gave him a 90% or 90-day pause, but he jumped China's to 125% or whatever it is now. What's your answer to that?
What is this doing? I mean, honestly, and from your perspective, what do you think he's doing? Does he seem to be crazy, or does he seem to have it together and he understands the moving parts of this?
In my opinion, it seems to me that, well, obviously, I think he knows what he's doing. Number two, I think he's making it now to where it's the world against China.
Okay, so that's a very good point. So that's the next step in the path here. So when we got to 125%, these factories are going to start to slow or come to a complete close, and because they're on such tight margins and time frames to produce this stuff. Now, when that happens, you're going to start to see 250 million at the most Chinese people that are out of jobs, right? Now, what do you think he's doing with the EU right now? What do you think he's doing with Canada? By the way, China just slapped a bunch of tariffs on Canada. Would it be possible that Trump would then coalesce Canada, Mexico, and the EU against China once and for all, right? Let's reduce all this. Let's do this here and there. But let's, as a united group, come together against what China has been doing, stealing our IT, thieving all of our manufacturing, the slave labor and everything else like that. So the next step is going to be coalescing all these countries together to be China versus the world. And China showed its hand by retaliating today, going to 84%. It'll be a huge mistake if they go, even higher, because this is going, if this goes to 250%, it's going to be widespread shutdown for the Chinese economy.
And he can't let that happen because the people turn against him. They have no jobs. They have
this is part of the deal. He understands the leverage. We have what China wants, which is the American consumer. He understands this. He's going to put all the leverage in he's going to negotiate from strength. So, he backed down from this or that. No, what he did was show a little flexibility to give other countries a window to come in and negotiate and say, hey, thank you for this 90-day pause. We would like to present our best foot forward here, and let's do this. And in those meetings, they're going to say, would you like to join the effort against China?
Whoo. Okay. Yeah.
The step after that, Rubio, is currency devaluation, widespread currency devaluation, and then you're going to see civil unrest like you've never seen before.
In China. So what's your prediction? Number one, do you have any other graphs that you want to show? And then number two, what is your prediction for what's happening within the next 30 days for all these people that are, oh my gosh, the world is crumbling, stocks.
It really depends on China right now, what they want to do. If they want to, they say they vowed to fight to the end. One of China's things is not to show any weakness, but they are a paper dragon. 84% tariffs on nothing is still nothing. We sell them soybeans once every 4 years and call it a day and think that's successful. Well, they're going to slap a bunch of tariffs, 84% on soybeans. Great. Trump will write the American farmers a check and say, what else do you got?
So in your mind, you're not stressed.
The only thing that I could see this escalation to where if it did get to the civil unrest portion, that China would do something silly and invade Taiwan to really upset the entire global economy, because they would know at that point there's no other options. And that's really what scares me. And I think Trump understands that, and he will come, cooler heads will prevail over the next 30, maybe with China over the next 60 to 90 days, but we will see. We have all the aces.
Yeah, I mean, it appears that way. I mean, just talking to you throughout the day, I'm like, okay, should I be nervous? No. Okay, here's the reason why you should not be nervous. Before I let you go, is there any other one of your charts or things that you want to show that kind of just drives home your point?
What is the first line in The Art of the Deal?
I haven't read it in so long, I can't remember.
I don't do this for money.
Oh, it's like a game to him.
It's a game. He is going to, but it's more than a game, Rubio. He understands this is the future of America. We are resetting these deals one by one. These countries have been taking advantage of us since World War II, I'll say. We have been the poor sucker since we, bombed Japan a couple of times. We have been just bailing things out left and right? So all that is coming to an end. Billions of dollars are being saved. Wouldn't it be nice to have the entire country's infrastructure taken care of? I mean, we are sending that kind of money out of the country every single year. So Trump understands that these trade deals will strengthen America, bring home all of the goods and products that we need for defense and for medicine, for pharmaceuticals and things like that. There's going to be a pharmaceutical tariff coming in the next couple of days. I guarantee it, on Ireland. You watch that to come. So, yeah, they have a huge pharmaceutical manufacturing division in Ireland. All of those factories moved over there during COVID. So, yeah, you'll see that specifically coming in the next couple of days for sure. But, it's really up to China now to see where they're going to, if they're going to play ball or not. The paper dragon will get burned 100%.
Bergeron, I always appreciate your time. This is John Bergeron once again, our financial expert on the Rubio Method. Bergeron, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Y'all have a nice night.
Yep. Working hard is not enough. All right. So back in the day, Actually, let's just bring in our guest, Craig Hannum. Come on out, bud. You've been back there way too long. I apologize. I got going on my stories, then Bergeron and I got rolling out. So, Jenna, bring out Craig Hannum. Craig Hannum is a suicide prevention expert, works at the local high school as well. He does a great job. We've had him on the show, Jesus, probably 5-6 times at this point. I see. Well, no, he's not. He was there, but he's not there. No, he's not there again. He's going to discuss bullying on campus and how it is not like it used to be. Back in the day, as Hannum gets on there, I think we all, if you're, let's say, over 40, if you didn't grow up with a cell phone in your pocket until you got to say, let's say, college and or beyond, bullying to you was different. Bullying was something you walk down the hall, some guy hit you in the shoulder. He might have said something to you. She might have said something to you. I mean, I think it's a little bit, I don't want to say more catty with girls, but I think it is. Guys is more just like get punched in the face and you figure it out. And it brought to me, there was a great movie in 1980 featuring Chris Makepeace, ironically, Adam Baldwin, and Matt Dillon. Okay, this is a phenomenal movie in 1980 called My Bodyguard, not The Bodyguard, Jenna. It's called My Bodyguard. All right, it's a phenomenal movie. It was out in 1980. I must have saw this movie 12 billion times in the 80s. I wasn't exactly an active human being. Jenna says, Hannum, turn your camera on and off again and then get it back on. So this movie is basically this younger dork. He's in high school, probably a freshman, sophomore, and he gets picked on by Matt Dillon. Matt Dillon is your standard issue bully in the 80s, tight shirt, no sleeves, just a jackass. Is always picking on someone because he's insecure about something. So Chris Makepeace decides, I'm tired of getting my butt kicked. What's up, Hannum? How are you?
How you doing, man?
Do you remember this movie, My Bodyguard?
Oh yeah, that's back in, yeah, that's good. That's a cool classic.
Yeah, 1980. So I'm going to show a little clip of it. And so Chris Makepeace, ironically, hires Adam Baldwin, this big rough dude. He's got like this trench or army jacket on, basically to be his bodyguard. Okay. And then at one point, Matt Dillon, who is the bully, hires another big guy, looks like me, basically, to beat the hell out of Adam Baldwin. And he goes down like a bag of rocks. He goes down, blah, blah, blah. But this is the very, very end sequence where this is what I remember bullying as. This is how I remember every 80s movies, every 90s movies, every late 70s movies. Growing up, this is how I remember bullying. So Jenna, show the clip of the movie, please.
Go for his nose. Thanks, you're a wonderful human being, you know that?
We need your damn bodyguard. Come on!
Get him.
I want to get him. Oh, all right, all right.
Not to cut it off, but I got to cut it off. Phenomenal 80s music that just takes you to the place right away. Go ahead, Jenna.
Clifford, get him in the nose.
Broke my nose.
I really think I broke his nose.
You broke my nose.
You did?
And at that point, the bully goes his way. This other guy goes his way. No one's picking on him anymore. And this is one of those things, Hannum, that back in the day, and I know this to be true, even in, say, mid-90s when I was playing football, my buddy Myers that I always talk about, he was the exact same way. He was a bully, but in a good way. If you came on the field the first day and you were, say, a defensive lineman or offensive lineman, someone he dealt with, wide receivers and all those other people he didn't play around with, he would literally come up to you and like either punch you in the face or hit you in the chest as hard as you can. And if you went down, because he was a big man, if you went down and did not retaliate, he had no respect for you. He wouldn't even he wouldn't even speak to you after that. You were like lower than pond scum. But if you came back and tried to go at him, you weren't hurting him. But if you tried to come back and go at him, it was like, okay, you're one of us now. You got the respect now.
Yeah, rite of passage, right?
Yeah, rite of passage, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the way I grew up with bullies. You had to smack them in the face. Sometimes you got your ass kicked, sometimes you didn't. But either way, if you got your ass kicked or not, 9 times out of 10, the bullying ended at that point because, like you said, you got the respect, you earned it, things like that. You contacted me about 2 weeks ago saying, I got to get on the show. I got to talk about this new age, this new wave of bullying. So talk to us. What's going on out there?
You and I are about the same age, man. So it was the same thing. You and I got bullied, if we did, Monday through Friday, 8 to 3. That was it. You know, and then, like you said, if you got in that fight, chances are you had respect for each other. Hey, what's up? I see you in the halls. How you doing? That's fine. And you move the frog fart on, right? So my wife and I watched this mini series. It's 4 episodes on Netflix. It's called Adolescence.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody watching, you need to make sure you watch this to where you can watch all 4 in a row, and I guarantee you will break down crying. It's pretty intense because it's like, whoa, it opened up this whole new world of cyberbullying that has taken on a whole new freaking form. So I was like, okay, I wonder how true is this? Well, I got a buddy, and I made a phone call. Said, hey man, is this accurate? They said, well, what's interesting is that show, even though they don't say it, it's based on actual events that happened in the UK. And so I know I sent you, the 2 pages of insanity. That's why I sent it to you, and I said, hey, emoji insanity. That's how I listed it when I emailed it to you, because it's real. So it's not just the hidden.
Jenna, can you go and put one of those up for us?
Yeah. So I get it. So that one's not it. So it's in black and white, but that one, if you look at the top, that top stream of the cross skulls, the alien, the devil, that all represents bring me ecstasy. Okay, that's the drug reference for ecstasy. Below that, look, it's a balloon. Okay, and it says, yeah, that's used for find me some freaking nitrous. So we know we can get nitrous in 2 forms. One, the dentist's office, and whipped cream.
I don't know.
Whipped cream, the can of whipped cream.
Oh, whipped cream. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, when you upside down and it creates the pressure, and it makes foam. Yeah, it's great. It's wonderful. Tip it upside down. What do you get? Nitrous oxide. So all these emojis now, and go 2 down. Peach, those are sexual terms. Okay. Peach means the butt. That thing in the center means, the phallic nature beast of the men. And of course, the 2 cherries mean the giblets of men. And if you just keep looking at it, you're like, wait a minute. So the hearts is what gets me the most. So below that little frog looking one, that frog one means you're ugly. So that's being used a lot. The hearts concerns me. So red heart, it means love. Okay, it means, it's great. I love what you sent me. Your wife sent you a text. You do a quick response because you're driving. Heart, thank you. I love it. I love what you said. Moving on with the rest of our life. Purple can mean I am attracted to you sexually. Okay. The yellow one means I'm interested, or are you interested? Now, that's where it takes a twist. That's where young women, especially teenage young girls, are using that one to kind of bait guys. It's a fishing attempt, just so I can pick on you. Because you're part of that you're not inside that 20% of men. It says 80-20 philosophy that was in the show Adolescence that talked about, if you are not part of the 20% category of men, rich, going to be wealthy, athletic, popular, your family's rich, all these things, you have no chance at any kind of relationship. Where the term, and I've got 4 pages here of research that I did, and you know how I am about research, Chris, that talks about this one term at its foundation and its core called an incel. I'm going to read this word for word. I know you're sure on time. I'm going to read it word for word. It's short. Involuntary celibates, or incels. This term actually came around the late 90s, where a young lady had posted some things online. She did a great report saying that I want to be involuntary celibate, and it had to do with her faith belief. Okay. So it was a faith belief system about wait till marriage, wait for real love, et cetera, et cetera. So it was, at the time, it was positive. Then MySpace came out, and then everything else came out and exploded. And they took that definition along with these and turned it into something darker. Here's what it means. Incels, or involuntary celibates, are another subculture within the manosphere. That's weird. that has drawn widespread criticism for its extreme and often violent rhetoric. Incels are men who feel they are unable to attract sexual or romantic partners despite wanting relationships, and they attribute this to factors beyond their control, such as their appearances or societal norms. Now, the social norms we're talking about is the bullying. It's getting bad. So I did check. So far, thankfully, there have been no incidents, I should say, in the United States where this type of cyberbullying has gone to a level that has happened in the UK. I am working with a young man from Edmonton, Canada, who has been bullied in this form to the point where he was baited by a young lady. She sent the yellow heart emoji. He showed interest. He responded. They started a conversation. He sent a picture, Chris, because she said, send me something sexy. So don't write me something sexy. Send me something sexy of you. And he did. And we know that revenge porn is illegal in the United States. Well, he sent it. And she sent it to everybody she knew to pick on him based on this new digital language, where if parents and teachers and any staff member at any school from middle school to high school or primary, which is primary is, Canadian and UK, if you're not paying attention to this language, you're not looking at your kids' content, you're failing them. You're actually setting them up.
That was going to be my next question. Number one, how do they find? I mean, I'm assuming you don't want 5 billion people texting you, "Hey, send me this graph." It's like where can they just the hidden emojis? Where can they find this? Can they just go online?
So here's what I found it from what's called smoothwall.com.
Okay, smoothwall.com.
SMOOTHWALL.com. It's an actual valid resource that is there for teachers and anybody in the education field to say, hey, here's the latest and greatest. So I did verify, because we know you got to verify stuff, like the latest one that Jenna just put up, the top one, red pill, blue pill. Now that of course came from the movie Matrix. Remember, he's like, choose this pill, da da da. So red pill at the end, it means you are definitely incel. You're involuntary celibate, which means you will never find a relationship. And we're going to make sure you never find a relationship. Well, that leads to bullying. So remember back in our day when we used to focus on the bully, the guy picking on other people. That's the kid that would get in trouble. He'd get called to the principal's office. He'd get put in the corner and he'd get beat. I grew up in a rodeo area, so we would beat the crap out of that bully. Nowadays, we look at the person that's being victimized by the bully because that's the dude that's going to lash out violently. And that is, sadly, the individual who is more susceptible to suicidal behavior. And as I've told you before, the previous, 5 times I've been on, social media is the biggest contributing factor to suicidal behavior for young ladies between the ages of 10 and 18. We're seeing a paradigm shift where it's now 14 to 18 for boys.
Jesus.
So like 5, 6, no, God, no, I want to say maybe even 8 years ago, that number for young ladies was like 14. Given technology nowadays, that number might drop for the boys to 10 in less than a year.
Due to the fact that everyone's got cell phones now, and bottom line, parents, you and I talked offline, it's you got to either Jenna says, take the phones away or don't give your 5-year-old a phone. Yeah, it's one of those things. And if you're going to give your kid a phone because say he's a latchkey kid, I don't know if they use that term anymore or something like that.
No, I'm a latchkey kid. I get it.
Yeah, no, I know you and I were, but I'm just saying I don't know if they still use that term.
No.
It's one of those that you have to either take the phone away, like Jenna says, or you have to be able to monitor it. Like
and like when I was sending you that stuff during spring break about that 10-year-old from Virginia who took her life, okay, at the beginning of the month, last month, and it horrible and tragic. And I know this is insensitive to say, and people don't like me hearing saying this sometimes, but only the person at fault is the person who took their life. That's the person at fault. However, the contributing factors for a child are overwhelming. One, why does a young lady at the age of 10 have a smartphone? Mom and Dad, where were you? How come we didn't check her stuff, man? Why aren't you screening? There's this thing called Safe Teen or Teen Safe. It's an app, so everything they correspond, you are getting. You're seeing it in real time. Because I get it. It's hard to track that crap because you're talking about gigabytes of information an hour that these guys are corresponding with. But Mom, Dad, if you're listening, teachers, anybody in the educational field, if you are not paying attention to this language, it has the propensity to make life really difficult for a lot of people at a very young age who are very susceptible. Not to mention physiologically, when you talk about hormones, mentally,
Oh
psychologically.
yeah,
And then,
age
then emotion.
13 through 17, you're basically half an animal.
And let's be honest, when you and I were teens, man, as a freshman, and any girl that paid attention to us, especially if they were upperclassmen, was like, oh my God, hey, how you doing? Wow. So you're a barrel racer. Hi, I know you're psychotic, but you're just gorgeous, whatever. Oh,
Well,
you're on the cheer squad.
Hannum, for me, they probably knew that at one point I'd have my brown leather bag.
I can't follow that, dude. Come on.
I don't have to tell you. I saw the opening. I took it. No, but bottom line, you're saying all the right
No,
things.
you're right.
I wanted to bring some levity to it, but it's one of those things of bottom line. If you're going to give your kid a cell phone, okay, you did what you did. You chose to choose that path. I got it. Everyone's different.
Communication is important. I get that. And peer pressure, not having a cell phone is hard. I get that.
But it's one of those, either you can't allow them to have social media at the start, and or if they are, you have to be able to monitor it. And I've had people argue before, like, oh, it's my phone. Okay. I've heard kids and parents say that, well, who's paying the bill? So it's really not your phone. Like if you've got a job in
my privacy. Yeah, you don't get privacy.
Yeah, you don't have privacy. If I'm paying your bills,
if you've got a smartphone with location services on, you are not in a private mode.
Yeah, exactly. I
mean, anyone will tell you that. You know, with the stuff I used to do in the military, take out your SIM card, take out your battery. We can still track your phone, you idiot.
Yeah, 100%. Especially nowadays. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
I'm not gonna lie, man, brother. This scares me, especially in my line of work, where now I have to add this new level of knowledge to my training. And I just got asked to be a guest speaker for a thing on Monday. And you know, my wife Tony, she's like, "Hey, you're gonna bring this up, right?" I was like, "Oh yeah, we need to pay attention."
100%.
Yeah, it's gonna if it's hitting kids in Canada, it's just a matter of time before it becomes mainstream language here, and we need to be smart on this.
Well, no doubt about it. Craig Hannum, I appreciate your time as always. Sorry for keeping you late. I got gone a little too long. Thanks again, Hannum. I really appreciate it. That was a little heavy, but just monitor your phones. Well, this last segment will be nice and quick and all that good stuff. Confidence is the key. Jenna, throw out the picture. Keep me on the side if you can. You hear me say this a lot. Toe the line, toe the line, toe the line, toe the line. Toe the line just to me means one side is confidence, one side is cockiness. And what I mean by that is when Jenna gets the picture up, you'll see there's a black screen. You got a yellow line. I always say the top athletes that I've seen and the top business people that I've seen, and my wife says I toe the line a little too much, is I want to be right on the edge of confidence and cockiness. Okay. I almost want my confidence bleeding into my cockiness. You don't want to be over cocky. Okay. But you want to make sure that your confidence is bleeding into the cockiness, and to where it's people, so they can say almost like, oh my God, I don't like that guy. Why not? Oh, he's too cocky. Okay. Why don't you like him though? How is he cocky? And if they have a hard time figuring out an exact answer, that's perfect. Where you're bleeding from your confidence into the cockiness, but you're really not cocky. So there's that. So think about that. You heard me talking about it a lot. Let's move on to the bottom line. The bottom line is all the stuff that you should have learned without even realizing you learned it. Number one, when traveling, just be nice and be willing to accept your surroundings. Okay. Be nice. Smile. You're going to have troubles with flights and all that stuff. Make sure you're not carrying a 75-pound book bag, and embrace your surroundings, as I did with the Fozier family, except for the one daughter that I'm no longer talking to. Number two, learn to play the long game and maybe listen to those that have played the game before. Learn to play the long game and maybe listen to those that have played the game before. Someone told me about the stock market. It's not watching a 100-yard dash. It's like watching someone, Forrest Gump, run across the country. You're not going to watch the first day. You're probably not going to watch the second day, the third day, the 100th day. It's going to be, 200 days in. So it's a long haul. And number three, know what you are up against today. Know what you are up against in today's world. This has to go with Hannum. Talking about all the technology, parents, it's rough. It's way, way rougher than when we were kids. So keep an eye on that. Jenna, this was a phenomenal episode. I told you I'd make you laugh. Hopefully I did. I want to thank everyone that commented on X, YouTube, LinkedIn, Rumble. We'll be on Spotify and iTunes within 24 hours. I want to thank our guests, John Bergeron and Craig Hannum. You guys did a great job. I want to thank the Shimkos and the Foziers and all the everyone out there that fed me this past weekend. You guys did a great, great job. On that note, Jenna, I'm out.
Thanks for watching The Rubio Method. Be sure to spread the word, and don't forget to subscribe, like, or follow on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook.